I still don't know why my human decided that particular morning was a good day for what they called a little adventure. Little adventure, my paws. Usually, our adventures end up at the park, the beach, or, if I'm extra lucky, the corner bakery where they sneak me pieces of croissant. But that day was different. No ball, no park smells, and definitely no croissants. Just me and the betrayer in the car, headed to who knows where. The car ride itself was fine. I'm a bulldog. I know how to enjoy the finer things in life, like wind flapping my ears out the car window. But the moment the car stopped, I could smell something was off. Veterinary clinic, the sign read. Just seeing those words, my heart dropped. The scent of antiseptic and fear hit me before I even saw the place. I gave my human a look that said, "Do you really want to do this to me?" But they ignored me, offering me a treat like I was some naive pup who'd fall for such an obvious bribe. Inside, I was struck by the full terror of the situation. The waiting room was packed with a lineup of fellow unfortunate souls. There was a husky who looked as if he'd seen things he could never unsee, a schnauzer who was whining so high-pitched I thought my ears might explode, and a poodle who kept pacing and muttering to herself like she was plotting an escape. And me, Frank, a bulldog who'd been dragged here against his will. I tried giving my human the look. You know the one. The sad, big-eyed gaze that usually gets me belly rubs or treats. But the betrayer was determined, pretending not to notice. They kept looking at their phone, as if checking the time would make my anxiety go away. I'll remember this, human, I thought. The day I regain control of my leash, things will be different. After what felt like forever, the door opened and a cheerful lady in scrubs called my name. I froze. Frank. Just one name, like I was a contestant on some game show where the prize was getting poked and prodded. The other dogs in the room looked at me with pity, some even whimpering in sympathy. I was not about to back down. I was going to walk to my doom with my head held high, or so I thought. The moment my paws hit the tile floor of the hallway, I felt the terror all over again. The walls were lined with ominous posters showing diagrams of things I'd rather not know about. Bones, weird organs, a dog's tooth getting brushed. I tried to drag my paws, but my human just tugged the leash and kept walking. Betrayal, I thought once again. You'll pay for this. Inside the examination room, everything looked cold, metallic, and suspiciously sanitary. There was a table in the middle of the room that shone like a steel torture device. I tried not to panic. Maybe they'd let me lie on a comfy bed and just, I don't know, sniff me a bit, see that I'm healthy, and call it a day. But no, I knew deep down this was going to be much worse. The vet tech started by giving me some gentle pats on the head. It was a weak attempt to gain my trust, and I wasn't buying it. I'd heard stories about this place from the dog park. Supposedly, they checked your teeth, ears, paws, everything. If you had an inch of privacy, they'd invade it. I gave her my best suspicious side-eye, but she just smiled at me like I was the cutest thing in the world. First, she lifted me onto the metal table. Why metal? I thought. What's wrong with a nice, soft, warm bed? But there I was, on a cold, slippery table with my human holding me steady. The vet started with my ears, shining a bright light inside as if she expected to find treasure in there. I felt her poke around, and it was mildly uncomfortable, but I let it slide. Then she checked my teeth. Good boy, Frank, she cooed. Yeah, flattery won't get you anywhere, I thought. Although I admit, I kind of liked the attention. But just as I was getting used to the ear and teeth inspection, she pulled out the thermometer. I recognized it instantly from the horror stories. The older dogs at the park had warned me about this particular instrument, and they weren't exaggerating. I tried to squirm away, looking up at my human with wide, pleading eyes, but they just kept holding me still, whispering, "It's okay, Frank. You're being so brave." Oh, am I? I thought. Because it doesn't feel like bravery when I'm on the receiving end of a thermometer. The vet gave me an apologetic smile, as if that made the situation any better. I whimpered softly, feeling betrayed by everyone in the room. My dignity was crumbling. Finally, she was done, and I scrambled as far as I could to the edge of the table, shooting her a look that said, "We're not friends, lady." After that undignified thermometer ordeal, I was ready to escape. Just open the door and I'll see myself out. Thank you very much. But my torture wasn't over. The vet tech left for a moment, and I thought maybe, just maybe, they'd realized I was perfectly healthy and we could go home. But no, she came back with a tray. and on that tray was a syringe. The dreaded needle. I froze, my eyes darting to my human. Really? You're just going to let this happen? My human rubbed my ears, whispering sweet nothings about how brave I was. Brave? This was survival, not bravery. I had half a mind to bolt, but before I knew it, the vet had the needle in her hand, and she was aiming it right at my, well, you know. There was a slight prick, and then it was over. Just like that. I blinked, surprised that it hadn't hurt nearly as much as I'd feared. The vet tech gave me another pat, calling me such a brave boy. For a second, I almost believed it. Maybe I am a tough guy, I thought, looking around the room with a newfound swagger. As if reading my mind, the vet tech suddenly reached into her pocket and pulled out a treat. She held it out, smiling like she was about to offer me the Holy Grail. I gave her a skeptical sniff, but it smelled incredible, like chicken and something cheesy. Well, okay, I thought, taking it cautiously. It was delicious. My tail, which had been tucked between my legs this whole time, gave a tiny wag. Maybe this vet lady isn't so bad. Then she gave me another treat, and another. I was beginning to forget the trauma of the thermometer and the needle. Maybe this place wasn't all bad. As I chewed happily, the vet tech continued to examine me, pressing on my belly, checking my paws, and looking at my eyes. She was gentle, almost soothing. I looked over at my human, giving them an approving nod. Fine, you win this round. As the vet tech wrapped up her examination, I had a moment of clarity. Here I was, in the very place I'd feared the most, and it wasn't that bad. Sure, I'd endured some poking and prodding, but the people here had been gentle, and they seemed genuinely interested in making sure I was okay. I thought about the older dogs at the park, how they'd always talked about the importance of staying healthy. Maybe, just maybe, they had a point. When we were finally done, the vet tech patted my head one last time, saying, "You're all set, Frank. Stay healthy, okay?" I gave her a dignified nod, feeling almost grateful. I strutted back to the waiting room with a newfound sense of pride, like I was returning from a victorious battle. The other dogs looked at me with wide eyes, as if I was some kind of hero. Yeah, I thought, that's right. I survived the vet. As we got back into the car, I leaned my head against the window, watching the world go by. My human was beaming, scratching my ears and telling me what a good boy I'd been. The betrayer? Not anymore. In fact, I was starting to think of them as the protector, the one who brought me here to make sure I was healthy and safe. On the way home, I thought about the vet's office and everything that had happened. It was a scary place, no doubt, but maybe it wasn't just a place of nightmares. Maybe it was a place where dogs like me could get the care we needed. Maybe it was even a place of love, a strange kind of love that involved thermometers and needles, but love nonetheless. When we got home, I curled up in my bed, feeling safe and warm. I gave my human a look of appreciation, a silent thank you for looking out for me, even when I didn't understand it at the time. And as I drifted off to sleep, I felt a new sense of security, knowing that I had a protector who would do anything to keep me healthy, even if it meant taking me to the scary vet. The next time my human mentioned the vet, I didn't feel the same sense of dread. Instead, I felt a little twinge of pride. I knew what to expect, and I knew I could handle it. After all, I was Frank the Bulldog, a survivor of the vet, and if I could face down needles, thermometers, and cold metal tables, I could face anything.